The night my brother was murdered, the city kept breathing like nothing had happened. Neon lights flickered, cars rushed past, and people laughed under street lamps while my world collapsed into silence. They called it a street accident, a rich man's son racing his imported car. No charges, no trial, just headlines that disappeared in 2 days. But I remember everything. I remember my brother's hand slipping from mine in the hospital. I remember my mother screaming until her voice broke. I remember standing outside the courthouse as Damien Cross, smiling, polished, untouchable, walked free because his father owned half the city. Something changed inside me that day. Grief is heavy. It sits on your chest at night and whispers terrible things. For months, I tried to live normally. I worked 2 jobs. I avoided mirrors because my eyes looked different, darker, restless. Anger wasn't just an emotion anymore. It was alive. And then it happened. One evening, I saw Damien again at a rooftop party. Music thundered through the sky. He laughed with friends, raising a glass as if lives were toys he had outgrown. My hands began to shake. My heartbeat became a drum of war inside my ears. Pain shot through my body. It felt like my bones were expanding, like something massive was waking up beneath my skin. I stumbled into an empty alley, gasping. My vision turned sharp and bright. My muscles swelled, ripping through fabric. Skin hardened, turning deep green. Every heartbeat pumped raw power into my veins. I wasn't just angry anymore. I was the Hulk. A roar exploded from my chest, shaking windows. Cars flipped like paper. The rooftop music stopped mid-beat as I leapt upward, landing with enough force to crack the marble floor. Guests screamed and scattered. Damien froze. For the first time in his perfect life, he looked small. I grabbed him by the collar, lifting him effortlessly. "Do you remember my brother?" My voice thundered across the skyline. "Do you remember the life you crushed?" His bravado vanished. "It was an accident," he cried. "My father handled it." "Exactly." I raised my fist. One strike would end everything. The rage inside me begged for it. The Hulk grows stronger with anger, and in that moment I was unstoppable. But then I saw my brother's face in my mind. He used to believe in heroes. He used to believe I was strong because I protected people, not because I destroyed them. Instead of killing Damien, I smashed his father's priceless skyline statue behind him and hurled Damien onto the rooftop stage before dozens of cameras. "Confess!" I roared. And under the shaking lights, he did. The confession spread like wildfire. News channels replayed the footage of the Green Giant forcing truth from the untouchable elite. Investigations reopened. Warrants were signed. Damien's father tried to flee the country but was arrested before sunrise. The city called the Hulk a monster. Others called him justice. But inside me, the storm didn't quiet. At night, I still felt the transformation lurking under my skin. Anger doesn't disappear just because you win once. It waits, it feeds. Weeks later, chaos erupted. Powerful allies of the Cross family attacked the prison. Transport convoy to silence Damien before he testified. Explosions lit the highway. Guards screamed. Innocent drivers were trapped between burning vehicles. I felt it again, that surge. My spine arched as power ripped through me. Clothes tore. Skin burned green. Muscles expanded with terrifying force. The Hulk returned, roaring louder than the flames. I leapt onto the highway, absorbing gunfire like rain. With one hand, I lifted an overturned truck, pulling a trapped family to safety. With the other, I crushed the weapons of the attackers. Every step cracked asphalt. I found Damien cowering inside the armored van, bleeding but alive. For a second, I considered walking away, letting fate decide. Revenge whispered again. But I remembered my mother's tears. I remembered how pain multiplies when hatred wins. I tore the van door open and shielded. Damien, with my own massive body as another explosion rocked the road. I carried him to safety. He stared at me, trembling. "Why would you save me?" he asked. "Because ending you won't bring him back." The words stayed inside, but the meaning burned through my eyes. When authorities arrived, I disappeared into the night, leaping across buildings until the city became small beneath me. People still argue about the Hulk. Some fear him. Some pray for him. They don't know that inside the monster is just a broken brother trying not to let grief turn him into the very thing he hates. The Hulk is rage, but I am the choice. And every time my heart breaks, every time injustice rises, the Green Giant stirs again, stronger than ever. This time not just for revenge, but for protection.